still be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready.
Hey cuties, and welcome to part 1 of me sharing all of my female CC tops with you. As always, you can find links to everything in the description down below, and part 2 of this will be following Friday in 2 weeks, so if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've also done a bunch of these CC showcase videos in the past, so I'll make sure to link you to a playlist right now. There is videos on literally everything, every single category you could think of, not just for female sims, but also for male sims and for the little ones. So it's all there if you need it. But let's get straight into today's video. We have 240 CC items today. There's a similar amount in part 2. So, you know, we're gonna be here for a while. And if you have been here for a while, you know the drill by now. Grab a snack, grab a drink, grab whatever you need to be comfy for the next few minutes and just sit back, relax. Let's talk about life. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're gonna have a great weekend or have a great day whenever you're watching this, if it's not the weekend. I have been doing pretty well. It was my birthday 2 days ago, so I've officially entered my last year in my 20s, which I thought I was going to be more worried about, but to be honest, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's whatever. I'm just getting older. We've made it this far, which, you know, can be kind of proud of that. I mean, I've managed to survive this long, and I'm quite clumsy, so it was a challenge to make it this far. I also did a bunch of things well, I did 2 things on my birthday. I don't usually do a lot of like social things, so I was a bit worn out from that. My boyfriend is currently here, so we went to a cafe in the morning. I say the morning, but it was like 1 p.m. I actually woke up at 9, but went to the bathroom, got dressed, opened some presents. You know, it's just an eventful morning. I also didn't want to get stressed out in the bathroom. I was just taking my sweet time, and I am obnoxious on my birthday. Literally like, I'm the princess today. It's all about me. I make all of the decisions. I don't care if you want to leave now. Like, I'm taking my sweet time getting ready. I'm awful on my birthday. But I love it, you know. You only have that one day to be a brat, so you gotta make the most of it, okay? So we got there around 1. It was actually packed. I mean, the night before, I was in bed for 2 or 3 hours on my iPad trying to find a cafe I wanted to try out, and there's this place around me. It's like 10 to 15-ish minutes by bike to get there. It's a bit annoying because I don't like cycling, but getting there by public transport is taking forever just because there's a huge park between me and there, so there's no trams or buses going through, which means everything is going around, which takes forever. And I was like, I don't just want to be on public transport or walking on my birthday, so we're taking the bikes. I do like walking, don't get me wrong, but it would have been like 40 minutes, and it's not. That part of it is nice because part of it is like going through a park or more quiet streets, but then some parts of it is also busy roads, and I was like, I'm not doing that on my birthday. Not in the mood. But yeah, I spent like 2 to 3 hours trying to find a cafe the night before. I get weirdly perfectionist finding restaurants and cafes, stuff like that. I don't know why. I feel like I find something and then I'm like, there's this little one thing that could be better, so I'm trying to find something else. It's just, I don't know why I do it. I mean, it does lead me to probably finding cafes that are nicer than if I would just go out and go to any cafe I see, because you can not really know what it's like. But I feel like there's also beauty in that. Just go into a street where you know there's a lot of cafes and then just randomly entering one that looks good. I'm just not that spontaneous, I'm afraid. Maybe now, because I've been taking ADHD meds for like 3 weeks now, and I feel like it also helps with my social anxiety, which is something I didn't even anticipate. But I think just because my thoughts are a bit more organized, I'm not constantly like overthinking, specifically overthinking social situations and being like, what could they say, what could I say, what could go wrong, you know. Interpreting, is that the word? It doesn't sound complete. Well, we'll roll with it. Things that people say to me and like thinking, is there something like that I didn't pick up on? I don't know. It's just, it was exhausting, and it got better because my thoughts are more organized and I'm not, you know, just pondering about that all day, which is nice and surprising, and it's just great. But usually I would be like, oh, because a lot of cafes here, I don't like that. A lot of cafes here, you have to order at the counter, but they don't tell you. Like, you would sit down and then nothing happens, and then you're like, do I go to the counter to order, or will they be thinking it's rude? Because it kind of sends the message of being like, I waited for so long and you didn't get here, you know. So I used to get so stressed out about that. But a lot of places now seem to have it on their menu where it's like order at the counter, and I don't know why they didn't before, because it's like, give me some social rules to abide, you know. Like, I just want to know what the vibe is, what I have to do. It's a lot less stressful and it's just nicer for everyone. But yeah, the place was really nice. It was packed when we got there, but we walked up and down the road and then it pretty much cleared up. There were like a few people in there, like the amount of people that you need for it not to be awkward, because they're the only person in there. But not too much that was super loud, because before I even heard people talking from the outside and I was like, holy smokes. So it's very nice. I was considering having French toast, because I'm pretty sure they make their own brioche buns or breads, loaves, if you want to call them that. And the French toast looked amazing. They also had like a Biscoff version, which if it's done well, I like. If not, it can be overly sweet and I hate it. So I was a bit like, do I want to risk it for my birthday or not? And I didn't. I went for, they had like an egg drop sandwich, which was absolutely divine. I don't know, it was so nice just because the brioche was gorgeous. It was so good, and it had like, well, obviously egg and some lettuce and mayonnaise and spicy sauce. You could add other things to it, but I'm not good at eating huge portions, so I was like, I'm gonna be so full. And I knew that we're gonna go out for dinner with my parents and my sister, so I was like, dinner with the fam, I need to leave some space for that in my stomach, which I did. But then my boyfriend also forced me to have some cake. He was like, you have to have some cake, it's your birthday. And I was like, fine. I was literally full and I was like, I don't want to, but was honestly forced on my birthday to have cake. It was incredibly good though. It's like a Biscoff cheesecake, which kind of just, you know, was perfectly rounding it up of me not being able to decide between two different things. And then we had a Biscoff cake anyways. It was so good though. I don't know how they made it, but it was just incredible. It wasn't too sweet. It was just like perfect. I don't know, maybe I'll dream about that cake for a few weeks now. But then we just got home, had a bit of a chill out, and then just went out with my family. And my mom picked like a Vietnamese restaurant, which I was surprised by, because I don't know, I mean, we have been to like a million different like restaurants in my life with the different cuisines, but she doesn't usually like cold dinners. I feel like a lot of it was cold, but they also had like some udon. Oh my god, I never had like a harder choice to make. It was so hard for me to pick what I wanted to eat, and I don't know why that was. It's so difficult, and I do struggle at times, but usually I'm like between two things. But I was literally like, do I have udon? Do I have sushi? Do I have a poke bowl? Do I have curry? Do I have like a rice bowl? It was just, there was so much choice, but in the end I went for a poke bowl because I love poke bowl. It's just, I don't know, there's something about it, and like, it was incredible. I don't know what sauce it was. It tasted a bit, I can't describe it. It was just fresh, but also a bit greasy, but like, oh, it was just perfect. And I feel like the ingredients that they used were just really good quality, because I've been to like, I've had a lot of sushi in my life and a lot of good sushi in my life, but the fish they used was just so good. It has like raw salmon, it had some raw tuna in it, and also some shrimp. And the shrimp, I don't know what they did to it, but it's just so good. Like, to the point where I was like, this kind of tastes like, maybe it was crab now that I think about it, because it tasted more like crab. And it didn't say on the menu, it just said, I think, tartar, which is like raw stuff. So I don't know. I don't know, but it was so good. I was in heaven. It was very nice, but I was stuffed after that. And then my family wanted some dessert, and I was like, I literally cannot Even though I saw before that they have homemade mochi, and I love mochi, so I was like, I want to, but I can't. And then they got some mochi, which I took a bite of each one, and they were really good. I don't know if it's more traditional to have them with like red bean stuff and things like that, but I kind of tend to only like the ones that have fruit on the inside, or like, I mean, the whole thing is fruit, to have like a fruity flavor rather than red bean paste. Or matcha is nice. I actually like matcha, but I feel like those get too sweet for me, whilst the fruit ones have a little bit of something to it, if you get me. I don't know which ones are more traditional. I would say like the red bean paste, because that's what I see more in like packaged form from, are they Japanese? Oh my god, I'm so uncultured. I think so. It would make sense, but I might be wrong. Please educate me, okay? I'm definitely going to Google after this video anyway, so I'm going to be like, where was mochi invented? But yeah, those ones I'm not the biggest fan of, but I feel like maybe for like a European palate, red bean paste is just very advanced. And you have to really like it, you know, to like it. I don't know. I'm sure if I grew up with it, I would love it, but it's just not my thing. And I do like to try out new things. I'm not against it. I've also had like red bean ice cream once at a sushi place, but it's just, I don't know, not my thing. Don't know what it is. It's just, I feel like it's just sweet. It doesn't really have that much of its own flavor. Literally just tastes sweet to me because of the sugar they put in, so that's that. But yeah, mochis are like some of my favorite things. They're so good. But then yesterday, the day after my birthday, I was just in zombie mode. I was so exhausted, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot how much social situations stress me out. And it was pretty much almost the whole day, just because we were out for so long, also like walking back from the cafe and stuff like that. It just took forever, and I was like, I'm literally so dead right now. And then to cheer me up, I had a Coke Zero, which I'm not supposed to have caffeine right now because of the ADHD meds I'm taking. Whilst you try to find like the right dose of it, you are not supposed to have caffeine, which I don't even know if it applies to me, because caffeine doesn't have an effect. Like, it doesn't wake me up, it doesn't stimulate me, doesn't do anything. And a lot of people are always like, oh, it's just because you were having too much of it. But like, honestly, ever since I was small, it just doesn't do anything to me. And I researched it, and I think there's some like receptors where if you either don't have them or they don't work, something like that. I'm saying I researched it, but I only remember the bare minimum. I just researched it and I remember that there is some like genetical evidence that caffeine doesn't actually have like a stimulating effect to some people. So I'm gonna have to find out. I do have like an appointment next week, so I'm excited to ask the therapist about it, the psychiatrist about it, because I'm like, Coke Zero is kind of like my worst habit that I have, and I've been missing it. They also have like caffeine-free Coke Zero, but I don't know about you. I prefer my Coke Zero in cans. I mean, small bottles are also like, glass bottles are also nice, but I feel like the cans have the most fizz, and I love my drinks fizzy to the point where it hurts. Like, I want to be in pain for the first few sips of it. That's the fizz amount I need, and the cans just deliver better when it comes to that. So I had one on my birthday. It was very nice. Didn't wake me up more or anything, so that was that. And I was literally just, the day after, I was literally just playing Graveyard Keeper, which I thought was going to be a peaceful experience, but I forgot that there is so much you have to do, and I was constantly stressing about having to be in a certain place at a certain time, because there's like days of the week in that game where certain people visit the city, and then if you have like a quest that you need to hand in, or if you need to trade something with them, you can only do it on that day, and then if you miss it, you have to wait another week, which is annoying. So I was just stressing out. Okay, I was like, there's so many things to do, I need to make sure I don't miss any of the days. But it was also somewhat relaxing. I was just literally in zombie mode doing that all day, and then at night I remembered that I desperately have to order some yarn, because I've got a lot of gift knits planned this Christmas, and I love knitting, but it's also stressful to find the right pattern that I want to do, like the right idea for what I want to knit for people, and then Finding the right yarn is honestly the worst part, just because if you're not into knitting, you wouldn't know this, but there's like so many different yarn companies, and a lot of them obviously are in like Scandinavian countries, and those are like the more expensive yarns a lot of the time as well. I guess it's just because it's a lot nicer and better quality and whatever. But there's also like a lot of companies in the US and Canada, and getting that ship would be crazy. But a lot of people who make patterns live in those countries, and then they use yarn from those companies, and then I'm like, oh, that looks nice, but then I wonder what it would look like with other yarn. I don't know, it's just a whole ordeal to find the right yarn for your project, because yarn also has like different thickness. Like obviously if you knit a sock, it's thinner yarn than if you knit a big sweater, but if it's not the right thickness, then your sweater could come out a lot bigger or smaller than in the pattern. So it's just, if you haven't knitted, there's like a lot to it. And also yarns obviously have like different properties depending on what wool content is in them, or if it's alpaca or whatever. So you have to take all of that into consideration, and I was literally up here for 4 hours or something like that, planning it all out and ordering the yarn. But I was so relieved after, because it was something that I'm meant to be doing, meant to have done a while ago. I was like, I need to order yarn, and I was like thinking about that every day, getting stressed out, and I've finally done it. So that's that. And also with that, the video is coming to an end. How perfect. I hope you enjoyed all of this CC, and if you have, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you all next time. Bye.